Welcome to your weekly program, Balahdan. The show believes what happened in Egypt is a coup by demand, by popular demand. The question is it a coup? Is it a revolution? Is it a continuation? A lot of questions now has been going around try to define what exactly happened in Egypt. 30 years of dictatorship was toppled in 18 days. More than 20 million people went to the street, elected the first civilian president in Egyptian history, Dr. Morsi. A year later, more people were in the street. He managed to bring more people on the street to protest than 30 years of Mubarak. So we have here Dr. Ragui Assaad from Humphrey School. He really following the events there in Egypt. I talked to him right before the Tamarud movement June series, and he predicted, this is going to be hot and a lot of people will go out there, but it should wither away by Ramadan. It's still there. They went home, but other Muslim Brotherhood, thousands, millions, whatever the number is now, they are the ones staying in squares demanding the return of Morsi. Welcome to Balahdan.
Thank you.
Ragui. To be here. To be here. I'm happy to be here with you. And let's just go and get this. Is it a coup? Is it a revolution? What happened in Egypt? Egypt always managed to come up with something that makes sociologists and social scientists
I think
pondering about it.
Exactly. We're specialized in trying to blow up these concepts. And if you look at it from a very technical point of view, you may think of it as a coup. But the reality is that this is the second wave of the revolution. It is the people in the revolution seeing that their country was going in the wrong direction and brought it back to what they think is the right course. I hope that now we have learned something from this year's experience and that we're going to get it right this time.
Well, someone says if a coup succeeded, it's a revolution. If it didn't, it is a coup. And it's like what happened in '52. But it seems like, are we going back? I mean, I thought we got rid of the military. I thought we are establishing a democratic institution. We have election. Maybe we have corruption. We have people going the wrong directions. Was it more important to get rid of Morsi than establish the democratic institutions?
The reality is that it takes a very long time for revolutions to actually establish the post-revolutionary regime. If you look at any major revolution in the world, it took at least 10 years for the institutions of the state to be established. And so, yes, we were at the beginning stages of establishing a democratic system. However, the transition was done very badly the first time around. They made every possible mistake they could have made in designing the transition. And the result they got is one that initially people, what they said, they squeeze the lemon when they want to swallow something that is really bitter. They squeeze a lemon, but those who squeeze the lemon realize that it was still way too bitter to swallow.
They were eating fisik or what? But you're talking about. I know the number can be debated. 30 million. Could it be possible that in 1 year, 30 million people be in the street, or this is were orchestrated for a whole year by the military and Mubarak fuels and the NGO. There's a lot of talking about how the businessmen of Mubarak, the finance of all these people, and 30 million people 1 year, it sounds like unusual, to say the least.
There's no question in my mind that this is genuine, and this is people who are genuinely fed up of the Morsi regime coming out. Now, of course, a lot of people try to help this out, try to jump on the bandwagon, try to put some funding here and some funding there. But no matter how much conspiracy there could be in any country of the world, to manage to get 30 million people out in the street for any cause is just about impossible.
Yeah.
So I don't believe in the conspiracy theory. I think a lot of businessmen were helping. There's probably some sabotaging of the economy during Morsi's regime. There was probably the military wanted this to happen anyway. At some point, they reached the conclusion that Morsi cannot stay. But all of these things together would not have created.
So without these things, it would have been a revolution still. Without the
absolutely, I think if the military, for instance, had not intervened in the last couple of days, there would have been increasing civil disobedience. There would have been potentially more trouble, more violence in the streets as the two groups started. But there was so much anger. I was there in Egypt for a month prior to this happening. I could see the anger was palpable. People were really fed up. You talk to any taxi driver, and before you even step into the car, he would start the diatribe against Morsi.
Was it that because of that smear campaign by the liberal media for a whole year? Some of the things I've heard, I've seen coming out of those medias, it will be persecuted here, demonizing people, nullifying people, inciting people. And the other aspect, I say, sabotaging the economy, is it all due what Morsi did or what Morsi represents?
Well, look, there are two things that push this. The first is that people felt that their identity as Egyptians, the way they view religion, the way they view the relationship between religion and their daily lives was under assault. That they didn't bargain for that. They were perfectly happy with the centrist way they viewed their religiosity. They didn't want somebody to come and impose on them a whole new framework that claims that anybody who disagrees with them politically is an apostate and is somebody who doesn't believe in religion. So there was a reaction against this kind of imposition of a particular identity and way of life. The second problem that people were reacting to was economically. Things were getting from bad to worse, and they could see the country was very badly mismanaged. But I don't think that the economic story alone stands on it's an assault on their identity as Egyptians and on the religious identity as Egyptians.
And that was because most of the average Egyptian is a religious person. I don't think there is that much difference between an average Egyptian and a brotherhood as far as religious goes. Was it that led by the so-called liberal, anti-Morsi, the elites? They have a disdain for tradition, and Morsi remind them of that. Remind them of the things they hate about Egypt. They hate about their tradition. I coming up with a theory. You gotta help me out.
Look,
I think there is a disdain.
If the liberals were that influential, they would have managed to win some elections.
They brought the average masses with them.
Well, but that's the key. Why did the masses go with them?
Because of the economic and all that.
The masses went with them because they felt that the way that the Muslim Brotherhood was imposing religion into politics and was accusing everybody who disagreed with them of being an apostate, a kafir, went against the moderate Egyptian Islam. Egyptians have always seen themselves as being moderate, as being centrist. The Azhar Mosque represents that. And the Muslim Brotherhood, they saw had this multinational scheme to try and impose an Islamic state, which is something that they weren't comfortable with.
The revolution or the coup by demand succeeded. Morsi is heading somewhere. We don't know where he is. Now we have General Sisi, which the liberal braiding him like a new Nasser. I've been in Nasser. I've seen Nasser. I talked to Nasser when he came to my village one day. Sisi is no Nasser, as somebody says here.
Yeah, and I don't think he wants to be Nasser. I think Sisi from the very beginning says, I don't want to be involved in politics. I had to intervene because that's what the people imposed on me, this action. But immediately, unlike Nasser, he appointed a civilian government. He allowed the cabinet to be formed almost exclusively by civilians. He is putting a very quick, maybe too quick, timetable.
We're talking about almost an 80-year-old banker heading the government. He was my boss when I left Egypt.
Yeah.
And he talking about the average age of the two, Baradi and Biblawi is almost 170 years old. For a revolution was led by the youth. This is disappointing.
Look, I mean, it's they were trying to get in fact, the youth wanted al-Baradei as being the symbol of the revolution to take over. However, to keep the coalition together, which included the Noor party, which is the Islamist component of the coalition, they had to compromise. And
1 minute left. There is a rumor before, unconfirmed report, that Sisi will resign or whatever, retire, and he was running for president next time. Same old story.
Well, I hope not. I really hope not. I think that we have the chance to make a genuine transition to democracy this time. We have to be very conscious about protecting human rights and protecting due process and the rule of law. Imprisoning the Muslim Brotherhood leadership without charge is not the way that the country is going to go forward. I do think that if there is going to be accountability. It has to be done in an organized transitional justice framework.
Is there a space for the Brotherhood in the future?
Absolutely. I think there is a space. The Brotherhood leaders who have been implicated in criminal acts, whether it's violent acts, whether it's attacks on troops in Sinai, etc., should be tried, but the rest should be...
We don't know the Brotherhood. I mean, Sinai,
Sure.
we lost Sinai a long time ago.
That's right. But there is some evidence that the Brotherhood was involved in that. In any case, people who have committed crimes should be tried. Anybody else should be part of the political process.
Dr. Assaad, thank you so much. Dr. Ragui Assaad from Humphrey School, sharing with us what's going on in Egypt. You know, this Ramadan is here, and I have a piece about flat bread and ethnic identity and what bread does to immigrants when we come here. We'll show this few minutes of that. We'll come back with our next guest from the other side. We have Dr. Hamdi Elsawaf. He is an activist here in the Islamic Center, and we'll talk about, is it a coup or is it a revolution? We'll see you in a few minutes. Assalamu alaikum, and God bless you all. It comes in all shapes, color, and sizes, eaten by people of all walks of life. They tear it into pieces, cut it, cover it, slice it, and of course, stuff it. Immigrants might leave everything behind when they leave their own countries, homes, families, places, and faces, but they all bring with them their own bread.
In Afghanistan, I used to go, my mother gave me, dough balls to take it to the bakery and cook it, bring it back. So that's what I did every day.
I think that in Egypt or in Arab countries, the bread is, I think it's the main item in the Egyptian meal. And we have a few different kind too.
In the East, where we come from, especially from Palestine, Jerusalem, and that part of the world, Egypt, Iraq, without the bread, there is no cuisine. We eat bread with bread. So bread is a very important thing in our life. It's very flat, very, like a pancake bread. And then we have also this one. Also the sabaya bread for the Somalian community is very famous also. So Somalian for the community. What's that called? Sabaya. Sabaya. Okay. Sabaya bread actually for Somalian community. The injera for the Ethiopian and East African community.
And what do they eat that? Bread is something unique. Everybody loved it and everybody wanted. Most people, they can't even live without bread because they want it every day, breakfast, lunch, dinner.
You cannot do it without bread. You have to have the bread. The Ethiopian food without injera is like, it really doesn't make any sense. So, injera is made out of teff. It's the smallest grain on earth. I don't know if you've seen it before.
Injera is a grain?
It's a little grain. It's a flour out of that grain. It's called teff. But in America, we don't get the teff very often here, so we got wheat and barley and mix it with a little teff. And that's how they make injera.
It's a really nice complement to, it's kind of a little bit sour, and so it's a great complement to all the spicy food. It kind of offsets it, and it's a fun way to eat.
In America, flatbread has become the best things that happened to the country since sliced bread. Bread is made to be shared. It brings people together. Bread is who we are.
I think not only in Egypt, I think bread is, if you go anywhere here in America also, like a grocery store or any place, you find all kind of bread. And in our country, actually the government, they pay percentage to make people, subsidize, to make it affordable for the people, so it's way cheaper there for sure.
Egyptian had two revolutions. When President Sadat raised the price of bread in 77, the second revolution, Tahrir Square, Egyptians were chanting, bread, freedom, and social justice. Welcome back to Balahdan. We heard Dr. Ragui Assaad from the left, from the liberal. I hate those labels, but I think he's a researcher and objectively. Now we heard from the other side, Dr. Hamdi Sawafi, Islamic Community Center of Minnesota, and also is following events in Egypt, and we're going to talk about, is it a coup or is it a revolution? Welcome to Bil Ahdan and Ramadan Kareem.
Thank you so much, Ahmed, and I really appreciate being with you in here. It's really an honor to be with you. In your program.
An honor is mine.
And in the meantime, I would like to extend my sincere greetings to 1.6 billion Muslims all over the world, 10 million in North America.
This is a happy month for them.
And 160,000 in Minnesota. Blessings of Ramadan, Ramadan Kareem to all of them. Yes.
But some of them are not having a good Ramadan. They're in Egypt, Rabaa Adawiya. I mean, 1 year of Morsi brought 30 million people, and 30 years of Mubarak brought 1 million. So why are so many Egyptians were trying to get rid of Morsi in 1 year? That he's a free elected, had the majority 51% a year earlier. What happened in that year?
Let me first remind you and people all over, today is the 10th of the month of Ramadan. So many years back, 630, it was the preparation for the conquest of Mecca after struggling and striving under the leadership of Muhammad, the Prophet of Islam, to regain Mecca, and successfully and peacefully he regained.
By the Jewish Muhammad.
By the Islamic military army.
Okay.
Yes, but peacefully, no fight, no bloodshedding,
no violence,
no nothing.
Ramadan.
And 10th of Ramadan back to 1250, it was a major battle in Egypt. Egyptians were defending themselves against Louis the Ninth, under the leadership of whom, believe it or not, a lady. It was the wife of the king, Shagrat al-Dur, the wife of Al-Malik As-Salih. I wish we could have one like her today to defend.
Well, Morsi's wife, who looks like her?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
And also the wonderful victory of the Egyptian army back to 1973. Military has
done. Was it Ramadan?
Yes, this is the 40th.
You're scaring me now.
The 40th anniversary of the victory of the Egyptian army.
My God, we forget about all this.
We should celebrate this, and I would really extend a message to General Sisi and the other generals
celebrate that.
in the army. Celebrate this and be in the military defense of Egypt. Don't be involved in politics, please.
But he saw as I said, as the Dr. Assaad said, saw the country going the wrong direction, millions of people, what he expected to do.
Wrong direction, be fair, and if we, as we have heard from that very deviated and manipulated media talking about 30 million, there is no way. Scientifically speaking, Tahrir Square
very hard to get,
and the surrounding
but there were a lot of people.
The surrounding, a lot of people, but also you have to look at the other side, how many people also were in support of Morsi. I'm not defending Morsi or Muslim Brotherhood, but there were many things that actually have led to what happened few weeks back. Do you think Morsi had a good grip of everything in Egypt while he was ruling? I doubt it.
But if he didn't, he should, because he was the president. He has an institution. He has
intelligence, whether army or general. He did not have a good grip of it. Army, he did not. Those experts and in the many positions, they were not helpful enough to tell him what is going on, and so on and so forth. And 1 year for elected president to judge him and say that that's enough for you, get out of here, and we have to have a replacement for you. Why not to wait for that term of the 4 years?
People just had a revolution. I mean, people are not in the mood for waiting. They just got rid of a 30 years dictatorship.
Ahmed, we got to learn. We got to learn. That there was a revolution.
So
there was a revolution 25th of January. Now what happened on June 30th, I would consider it as a setback for that revolution. It is not an extension.
How far back? Back to January or back to 52?
No, back to January, because now you're bringing the military in the behind the scene to control everything. We do not want to do this. We have a struggle and a strive for 62 years for democracy and freedom. Let it go. Let the election be the judge.
Let the infant, the baby
yes,
grow.
Yes.
So what really the main reasons that was the downfall of Morsi?
I would tell you some,
brought that many people
some
out.
internal and some external.
Okay.
No, external, we know the powers around.
yeah,
you know,
exactly.
we don't have to go through
He's
this.
not in that game.
External, again, he did not have a good grip of what is going on in order to see what should be done. Second, he did not come out to the Egyptian people and to the whole world and say, here is the inheritance I have inherited with those corruption, with those things there, it didn't go well throughout 62 years. Third, I have to understand what is going on as a leader for all Egyptians.
Yeah.
And I have
when he said Ashirati, does he mean Egypt or does he mean the Muslim Brotherhood? People were very offended by when he said Ashirati.
They were offended
Is this a
by
different
this.
language or a different message, code?
It is a different language. He wasn't really aware how he should address people.
Oh, how
when I
sensitive
address
people
I say, all Egyptian people. So I am the president of all Egyptian, not representing a small sect of people there. That's another issue I have to be careful with. And in the meantime, what experience Morsi had, in order to rule Egypt.
Did the Brotherhood make a mistake by bringing him up to be their front runner?
Let history judge this issue in here. But he would have done wonderful job if he utilized all experts in all fields in Egypt, especially security and economy in Egypt. I don't think he and Muslim Brotherhood did a good job in this. They failed miserably. And they got to learn from this.
How about this point where they said that most of Egyptian really wasn't the economy so much. It wasn't what the Brotherhood represent. The fact that they want the Ikhwanization of Egypt. We hear that a lot. The brotherization. You brought that.
Yes.
So people don't want the Islam of Brotherhood. They want their own tradition, mother-centered Islam.
That's true, Ahmed. Everyone would love to have the moderate Islam there and don't go to any extreme of it. And in the meantime, bring that wonderful and a great essence of Islam to all people around, not only for Muslims, but for everyone around, Coptic Egyptians, people there and so on and so forth. It would make a lot of sense. But that a lot of people had the sense that Morsi in here representing Muslim Brotherhood, not representing the whole Egyptian people, with the lack of knowledge how to rule and so on and so forth. So many factors. And one major factor,
very quick,
in here, yes, media. I have an article in here saying التضليل الإعلامي, the manipulation of
but still, as Dr. Assaad said, it will not bring that million people. Our media have been controlled all these years.
Let me share with you a statement was said by Joseph Goebbels, the minister of the Nazi Hitler. And they say, اكذب ثم اكذب ثم اكذب حتى يصدقك الناس. Keep lying and keep lying and keep lying till people, as a matter of fact, would believe you. This is exactly what the media in Egypt has done. Yes. And another statement, اعطني إعلاما بلا ضمير أعطيك شعبا بلا وعي. Give me a media without consciousness would produce, people without consciousness. This is
I know we're running out of time.
Yes.
Do you still believe that political Islam has a role in Egypt?
I believe so, and I really, really believe so. If we bring the moderate Islam there, considering all aspects of what is going on,
would the Brotherhood survive this?
Brotherhood would survive it. I believe they would come back to their sense and analyze.
What they should now? You have 5 seconds.
I would say be peaceful in the street if you'd like to demonstrate. Analyze what happened. Try to learn the lesson. And go for election, whatever that election is.
Get rid of their old leaders.
I believe they need a revolution there. They need to reassess what they have done.
Thank
and
you
I would
so
tell all of them, ولا تهنوا ولا تحزنوا وأنتم الأعلون إن
Thank you so
كنتم
much, Dr. Sawaf.
مؤمنين.
Very kind
Thank
of
you
you
so
to come here. That concludes our show. Dr. Hamdi Sawaf. He is here in the Islamic community of Minnesota. I will see you next week. Assalamu alaikum and God bless you all.